I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm gonna give it. This is my third go at making this live stream work. And if it doesn't work this time, I don't know what I will do, because I have not been able to get it to work at all. But you never know. There could be a time when I'll actually turn it on. I don't normally have technical issues with my live streams, but today, that's a different story. So if there's anybody out there watching, which there probably isn't, there probably is nobody watching, because there's just so many of these things floating around trying to work that I won't be able to do a live stream. But I am still trying. I am really willing to try. Let's flick the button and see if this is working. Is this live? Please, somebody, if you're in the live stream, just put a comment down there so that I know I'm actually talking to somebody and I'm not just talking to myself, because I don't know. I have no idea. If you can actually get in there and it's working, just type in a comment. Let me know that I am not on my own. And hello, Aaron, thank God. Oh my gosh, I was planning to do stuff and it wasn't working. And okay, so we have got it. It's working. Okay, so I'm ready to go. Dear. All right, I'm going to pull out the earplugs because I don't really need them. And I'm doing a slightly different format today. I'm not using my Dungeons and Dragons meme because I suspect I won't be able to use them in the future anyway. And so therefore I won't be able to do it. So if I can't do it in the future, and anyway. So it hasn't been very easy getting this to work. So yes. A few things. It has been a bit bumpy. Yes, a bit of a jump, bit of a bump, bit of a mess. Give people time to get into here. See now I know what's going on. It's not me at my end. I know what's happening. It's got to be at the YouTube end. They've been doing so many changes and alterations. Therefore, live stream not so great. Not working quite as well as I would hope. Certainly, it's working better than it was before, and I don't have. I do have encoder things going on apparently. No, the message is gone. It's saying it's all good. So I haven't overloaded the system. God, geesh. I have so many plans. Didn't really work quite the way I'd hoped. Let's hope it all cleans up. Okay, so we need to get into this, right? Because I've been mucking around way too long. I've lots of testing. If anybody's in this room and watching, then hopefully it doesn't look too bad in terms of quality at your end. Anyway, let us get on. Let's do this video. Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons 5e. And today's topic, as it happens, is the Dungeons and Dragons character background, the Sailor. Sail the Seven Seas. I've already decided that I like the idea of being a sailor, a pirate. It's brought back memories for me for all of the movies and books that I've read over the years, and oh my gosh, I have so much to say about this particular background. So what I want to do is, first off, I want to explain the character background, the sailor, that's in the player's handbook. And my suggestion to you is to turn to page 139 of the player's handbook for details on the sailor background. And I'm going to go through those details, and then I'm going to give you some ideas about how you can incorporate your character into your Dungeons and Dragons adventure based off some of the books that I've read, some of the movies I've watched, and some of the ideas that have popped into my mind, because it is a very exciting topic. Honestly, really, really cool. The world's oceans are your home, and you have sailed every ship there is. Mighty seas, storms, deadly sea monsters, pirates have failed to drag you down to Davy Locker's locker. Davy Locker's locker. Well, to Davy Jones locker. Is it Davy Jones? It's definitely Davy Jones. Well, down to the depths below where everybody sort of rots away. So they have failed to do that. Your first love is the distant seas of unknown empires and worlds. So what is your ship's name? Have you got a name? Are you going to just go with the Revenge like everybody else does? Like, oh, I'm going to call my ship the Revenge because every pirate ship and every ship that everybody ever wanted was called the Revenge. What's your sea vessel? Is it a merchant ship? Is it a naval warship? Is it just a fishing boat? Why not? You could have a fishing ship or a fishing boat, something that's simple. Or are you on a pirate ship? Plenty of options available to you. How famous is your vessel? Is it, hardly even known of? Or is it infamous or famous around the world? What were your duties? What sort of duties did you have on board the ship? Were you the captain? Were you the first mate? Were you a navigator? That's right. People still navigated back then, and certainly you have to be able to navigate in a fantasy world. Otherwise, how do you get there? Were you just the lowly cook, and you're going, under siege, we're going to go under siege? Or is your position on the ship even lowlier than that? Are you just a swabbing the deck? Who was your captain? If you weren't the captain, who was your captain? Who was the first mate? Have you figured these things out? These are questions that you need to ask yourself when you build your character background. These are things that are going to help you feed your desire to make your whole character come alive. And what happened to your family? It's always those questions. Do you still have a family? Are they still in touch with you? Did you run away from home? Are you an orphan? Oh, sad you. But those are all questions that are regarding the character background for a sailor, and really a lot of different characters will have similar aspects to them. Now there's the mechanical aspect to your character background, which I have to say is probably why the character backgrounds have been so popular, not just because they have flavour, but because they have some effect on the player running that character in the game. And there's a whole bunch of really useful things that you can pull from the book. First off, you have skill proficiencies in athletics and perception. Kind of makes sense. You're going to be climbing up all those ropes and doing a lot of physical work, and you need to be able to spot things, so being able to see the horizon. Do you see anything on the horizon? I see seagulls. I see nothing. I just see more sea, because there's a lot of it. You have tool proficiencies in naval tools. Now, when I say naval tools, I mean tools that navigating tools. Naval tools? No, that's got too many meanings. But you have tool proficiency in navigating tools. And you are proficient with water vehicles. That means boats, ships, maybe a submarine if your dungeon master is getting really, really fancy, which would be still cool. I like the idea of a submarine. You have access to equipment like a club. Doesn't everybody? Silk rope, a lucky charm. You're going to need it because you're going to be on water. Bad things happen when you have a campaign or your character is adventuring on water. You have common clothes because you are common, and you get access to 10 gold pieces, which should be just enough to get yourself a healing kit and maybe a couple of other things, or you can just drink it away. Why not? Everybody likes to drink. Why not drink? You get access to the background feature, Ship's Passage. You can now secure free passage on a sailing ship you have served on or have good relationships with. So don't mess up your relationship with whoever you've been working with, because otherwise you're not going to be able to access this. And remember, the background features require interplay with your dungeon master, so they could sort of hamstring that if you're not careful. Calling on a favour doesn't allow you to control the ship's route or schedule, but you can still get on a ship for free if you don't have your own ship to sail or adventure with. In return, you and your companions, that's the adventuring party, will have to or will be expected to work off the voyage. So you might wind up having to scrub the decks. You might wind up just being somebody who sits in the crow's nest, having a good lookout, making sure everything is working well. Maybe you need to just clean up clean up the deck, put the ropes away, lots of different things that can take place. So yes, really, really interesting stuff. You will also have to make sure to select a personality trait, or should I say probably about two, an ideal, a bond, a flaw, or if you don't want to just pick one from the player's handbook, you can create your own, because it's Dungeons & Dragons 5e. There's a lot of opportunity to do a lot of different things, so why would you not do something like that? I know I would. I certainly would. I would. Every opportunity, I'm going to be trying to do something new with my game. The option also, you get access to the variant sailor feature, which is the pirate. The variant sailor is the pirate. You wanted to be a pirate. Spend your youth with dreaded pirates. That's right, that's what you did. You spend all your time with all those nasty pirates, ruthless cutthroats, raiding and pillaging ports, rich merchant ships for treasures and trinkets. And you have accrued quite a bit of money. Very nice. Which means you get to pick up the variant feature for the pirate, which is bad reputation. Says it all. This means you inspire fear from all the things that you have done over the years while you've been a pirate. So look, to be honest, when I think about sailor, I do think pirate, but the things that have popped into my mind, and I couldn't help myself because I love watching movies, and who can't think of Sinbad? Now, the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad is one of my favourite movies. It's a very old movie where you had the two-headed rock, you had access to the cloven cyclops, dragons, an evil sorcerer with a genie and a lamp. I mean, it incorporated so many different ideas. And Sinbad is actually not a bad person. Sinbad is actually well known by the ruler of the world and going to be getting married. And so are you getting married? Are you close to royalty? Those are all things that sort of pop into my mind when I think about Sinbad and the Seventh Voyage. There's also the Golden Voyage of Sinbad. Not quite as good, but plenty of cleavage. And it included some really impressive creatures. You had the centaur, the cyclops centaur. I mean, what could be better? You had a griffin in there. You had the opportunity to deal with animated creatures, which had 6 arms. Oh, and it also had the homunculus and an evil sorcerer who had tried to squeeze the land. And Sinbad, again, is trying to sort of protect this particular nation from this evil sorcerer. I think these are all really cool ideas and the things that sort of appeal to me the most. Not quite so interesting, I have to say, is Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger. I like the monsters, the idea of the monsters. Certainly the Minotaur, the animated Minotaur was like hugely exciting. And again, he's trying to do something, usually something that's good. In this case, trying to save the prince who's been transformed into a baboon. So, yes, are those the sorts of things that appeal to you? Or are you the sort of person who prefers to be on the side of the law that isn't quite well, it's a bit darker, a bit grayer, something like Captain Blood, one of my favourite movies and stories. Errol Flynn was a doctor, wound up being put into prison or turned into a slave for helping save a soldier on the wrong side of an army, and essentially winds up escaping and becomes Captain Blood, running the pirate ship. Now, these are the sorts of things that sort of stir the imagination. His goals and rationale for doing it are not always completely pure, but there is a side to him that has rules and codes of conduct. And I would like to point out to you that if you decide to go the way of the pirate, you can do pretty much the same sort of thing. There's no reason why a pirate would not have some sort of code of conduct, because Captain Blood had a code of conduct, his crew had to abide by it, and if they broke that, there was a chance to, one, you were likely to be challenged to combat, and you would lose access to his his group of ships. I mean, it starts off with one ship and that winds up turning into a collection of ships, if you might say. So you've got yourself a pirate armada. Oh, and of course the newer version of pirate stories. I mean, Treasure Island is another great example of this. But Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. Are you a pirate with a curse on you? Are you cursed for some reason? Did you do something in the past that has made it difficult for you to actually communicate or live in the world? In this case, the curse for the Black Pearl is they're undead. They can't eat anything. They don't die. They can't be killed. And they can only be revealed in moonlight, which is really, really cool. I like all those ideas. Those are the sorts of things that sort of spring to my mind. And these are ideas, of course, you will pluck yourself. Do you have half of a treasure map that will lead to, hopefully, a treasure? And you need to find the other side of that treasure map. All these things you can build into your background. Very, very exciting. So you tell me, if you are playing the background of the sailor or are planning to, what sort of ideas have sort of floated through your mind? What are you trying to build? What are you trying to create? What are you trying to incorporate and what is already there and the Dungeon Master has presented? So for those of you who are playing in the Ghosts of Salt Marsh, which is a very nautical, seafaring adventure or series of adventures, how are you tying your character? Because it makes a lot of sense to have the background sailor if you're playing in a campaign like this. Certainly the Ghosts of Salt Marsh or a seafaring adventure. How do you tie it in? How have you done that to make not only it interesting for you, but interesting for your Dungeon Master and to make their life easier? Because that's also very important. Now, I have hundreds of videos for Dungeon Masters and players, and you're welcome to go and check those out if you want to. I suggest going and finding out about them very, very shortly. I have a Patreon account if you want to support me, so I do more videos like this, and I certainly plan to. I've done the scripts for a couple of these. There's more coming. There are plenty of videos for everybody, and if you jump onto Patreon, I give priority to patrons for what I make. That's essentially how it works. I also have affiliate links to the Book Depository and Amazon, and I now include all of the international Amazon affiliate links that you wouldn't have had access to before. Now, remember, share, like, and subscribe because that's always helpful. Make sure to hit the bell button to be notified when I go live and when I publish new videos, and I do that quite a lot. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. I don't have a 20 though. Where is it gone? It's nowhere. I forgot it. I lost it. See you later. I'm not gone. I'm going to the chat. Well, I do apologise to those people who were expecting me to be doing something slightly different and not mucking things up today. To be honest, I think it was very much a product of YouTube struggling to get its stuff together. Part of the reason why I'm looking at doing things differently on the channel, just because it hasn't really been working out the way I'd hoped, and I'm putting a lot of energy into it, and it's not producing the results that I needed. So I need to look at doing things differently. So you will find that this particular live stream that you're watching right now will not be available to watch later on. If you're here now, it's available to watch. You won't get to see this if, anybody else watching this won't see the live stream. What they will see is the cut down version when I finally get it put up. And I've decided that's the best way to go because a lot of people see that setup at the very beginning of my live streams, and I think that sort of is driving a lot of people away. And a shorter form is always going to be without all the chat and all of the setup at the beginning of live stream. So that is really what's going to be happening on the channel. The plan has been to live stream on Twitch TV, and I would make it freely accessible for people to comment on the channel, so you don't have to be subscribed or a follower or anything like that. And it would still mean that you can communicate with me and ask questions, but it'll be on Twitch TV. I feel that Twitch TV rewards live streaming and YouTube does not. I feel like that YouTube and the people on YouTube are not necessarily keyed in for live stream. Now, those of you who are regulars who like my live streams, you're very, very different, which is why I'm going to say, look, I understand if it sort of turns you off a little bit, but I think that's probably the best way to do it. It's certainly what I plan to do and make effective pretty much as of tomorrow. Okay, let's get into the live chat and talk about pirates and sailors and things like that, because that's why we're here, right? I need to get my glasses on. Oh, and for those of you who are needing to run off, yes, I am covering the Curse of Strahd at about 1 p.m. We'll be covering how to play Strahd von Zarovich. Okay, right, Aaron. Thank you, Aaron, for helping things up. It's a bit jumpy. Yes, I think that's a product of YouTube just not being able to get their stuff together. Losing a couple of frames. Exactly, yeah. So the setup is the same as it always has been. I know that at my end things are fine, so it's got to be YouTube. I've noticed there's been a lot of problems on YouTube recently, particularly when it comes to live streaming. As they're going from classic to studio, and that studio beta is just giant dynamite. It's just crazy. It's caused me a lot of extra hard work, and a lot of things don't work. Okay, Sector Black, how's it going, Sector Black? You haven't provided yourself enough of a leftist ally, so you are now on the censorship list. Yeah, well, maybe that's the case. Who knows? Those are sorts of things. Leftist. I'm not really leftist or rightist. I'm just, and if we're talking about politics, which we were going to talk about very, very briefly, I'm about what works best for people. And I believe that it needs to work for the majority of people, not just for a small selection. That's always been my belief. So yes, Americans do what Americans need to do to help serve them. Canadians do what they need to do to help serve them. And New Zealanders need to do what serves them and not somebody else. And I'm from New Zealand. Renee, how's it going? Sector, what do you got here? Hashtag question if you got a question. I love the background, but the description sounds a bit much for a new character. Well, yes. Look, to be honest, I am not huge on providing a lot of different information and detail in a background when you build a background myself, but these aren't necessarily things that the Dungeon Master needs. There are certain things a Dungeon Master requires to run a campaign with a character in it. And if you cover those, there's like 4 different things. I'm not going to talk about them right now, but there are 4 major things they need. And if you cover those, they're happy. All the rest is just for you. And as long as it's tied into their story, who cares? Is that Ditar? My DM said I had a background as a sailor because I am so naughty. Are you? Are you really? Aaron, weird. I thought sailors had proficiency in potty mouth. Yeah, they probably do. Potty mouth is, yep, absolutely. Yay, edited content. Look, I do actually put out edited content, but there's also a lot of live content on my channel. And I think a lot of people don't understand that you just need to be patient about waiting for the edited content to come out. I do not like sitting in front of a camera on my own talking to the camera, because I'll tell you now, if I were to do this, it would take me all day to shoot it and to cut it down and put it out as a video. That's why people only do 1 video a week. And I'm not going to do 1 video a week. I have far too much to say. And it's not fun for me. I actually like the interaction with people. I like doing it live because it's a lot of pressure. I have to get it right the first time round, and I get to interact with people once I've presented everything or just before the live stream, and that actually helps me. That's why I try to have such a strong community interaction. What's that? And deter. Put the full videos on Patreon. let people pitch in a few bucks to see them recorded. Yep, certainly I could do something like that. That's certainly an option. That's certainly something I have considered doing. Sector Black, I'm definitely going to have a big portion of my campaign be heavy nautical based. This is perfect. Oh, well, that's good, Sector Black. I'm glad it's been helpful to you. I actually have notes for a lot of different backgrounds, which I'm really excited to do. I like the idea of doing them because I get to talk about movies, and I like talking about movies, and I like talking about books that I've read as well. Deter, I missed the earlier part because of technical problems. What type of problems does armor cause for people trying to swim? Oh, disadvantage. And it's going to be disadvantage, and you're probably going to find, and depending on the dungeon master, you might wind up sinking. So there are lots of bad things that can happen to you if you have armor on. But then again, if you need to sink and you have water breathing, then it's not going to be an issue. You need to be sinking, don't you? You want to be able to walk along the bottom, unless of course you want to swim. Aaron, Fred Wheeler, a DM for the people, by the people. Well, trying really hard to do that sort of thing. Water always seems to kill people bearing armor who try to swim. Yes, it certainly does. And if you're playing a video game and you step into the water, as all but everybody knows, instant death, right? Walk into the water, die. You don't know why, must be acid. Fudd, how's it going, Fudd? Have I got it right, Fudd? I feel like Elmer, I'm going to say Elmer Fudd. Fudd. Hi, Fudd. Fred, love the hat. Keep the comedy coming. Okay, you're welcome. I will try. I actually prefer it this way. It's a lot easier for me. Re-edited content. Just trying to use positive reinforcement to get the type of content I like. It's lots of work. I totally get it. Yeah, well, also too, the thing is that I did this as a hobby and for fun, and if I keep doing it, and it's not fun, I might as well just go and work in retail. And I might wind up still having to do that as it happens. At this present time, I really will have to, otherwise I will not be able to survive. But we'll see how we go. We'll do things a little bit differently, we'll shake things up, see how it works. If it doesn't work, then I'll try something else. But yes, a lot of my live streams will only be accessible to you. And if other people really want to watch the live streams, it would probably be the patrons. I had already thought about that. They'll wind up going unlisted, all of the live stream content. But if it's on Twitch TV, it only lasts for 14 days and it's gone. I can upload it, of course, to a different platform if I need to. Okay. FUD. D&D needs to be light-hearted. Yes, absolutely. Remember, it's a game. Exactly. And it's not a normal game. Dungeons and Dragons is not a normal game. A lot of people, when they say game, well, games have rules. But when you are playing Cowboys and Indians, and when you are playing all of the other, pirates and so forth, did you have rules? Were there rules where you had to do things a particular way? This is one of the things. When people talk about game, they have a preconceived concept of what a game is. Now, right now, Dungeons & Dragons is full of rules, but that doesn't mean you can't strip away a lot of that. And they're not really quite as important as you might think. I know a lot of people say, well, if you take away the rules, then all you're dealing with is storytelling. But, to be honest, most of the time people play Dungeons & Dragons for that rather than the mechanical side. Unless, of course, you're somebody who got bored of playing chess. And I had somebody comment the other day about, actually it was last night, about how to play Dungeons & Dragons properly. And the proper way to play Dungeons & Dragons is like when you're playing chess. And I was like, oh, really? Okay. Just go back to playing chess. That's definitely a tactical game. Everything works out. There's no random dice. See, when you do something, it works. You're welcome for the live stream. Okay, Sector Black. Find a job with the least amount of responsibility. My motto is don't work hard for anyone because they won't appreciate it. Well, that tends to be the case. Yes. Okay. All right. Look, I am done. It'll be interesting to see how this live stream comes out, but of course it won't be available to anybody to watch later on because it'll be unlisted. Okay. Hey, thank you for everybody who showed up. Remember, I will be going live at about 1 p.m. New Zealand Standard Time, and we're covering how to play Strad von Zarovich. Should be fun. Should be a lot of fun. Okay, so I'm going to say what I normally say, and that is have a good day, have a good night, have a good morning, have a good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Look after your family and your friends. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Still don't have a 20. Don't know where they are. I've lost them. The big dice, they've vanished. I don't know where they're gone.